Yeah, I guess I did need the mic. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I know the turnout is light. It was a good day today. Feels real good, but we said 6 o'clock. We're gonna stay with 6 o'clock, and those people that come can get in. For those people that are on Facebook Live and Zoom and all that kind of stuff, if you have some questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will take your questions as they come in. My name is Zev Atkinson. I'm the political chair of Omicron and Lambda. Thank you for coming to our mayoral candidate forum with Mr. Bruce Rector and Ms. Kathleen Beckman. We'll just go ahead and get started. One of my biggest pet peeves is people's religions, right? So we can talk about anything we want, but who somebody chooses to worship, let's keep that off limits, right? And let's also not beat a dead horse, right? If a question has been asked and answered, let's move on to the next question. Now, there are just a few of us in here, so if you have questions, go ahead and give them. Let's give a couple minutes to, let me see, you got it? Rashad, let's give 3 minutes to each candidate to talk about their platforms and introduce themselves. And let's see if I have a coin. Anybody have a coin? Hey, let's see, heads or tails? Heads. Yes, it is. All right, so, Mr. Rector, you can go first.
So I know some of you here in this room tonight, and but just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm Bruce Rector. I've been in Clearwater for 9 years. I was born and raised in Indiana, outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. Then I went to Kentucky to college and to law school. I was an athletic trainer in high school and had an opportunity to work as an athletic trainer for Kentucky's basketball and football programs, and then worked for the Indianapolis Colts for a period of time before I went to law school. Got into law school as a PE major, and which was a challenge for me, but I got in and did that, and then practiced law in Kentucky for private practice for 23 years here. I'm a member of the Kentucky Bar Association and also a member of the Florida Bar Association. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't losing my mind, and then somebody asked me, "You're not a member of the Florida Bar, are you?" So I thought I was, because I've been going to continuing legal education seminars for 9 years and getting my hours in and paying thousands of dollars in dues to the Florida Bar. So I went online just to make sure I was, and sure enough, it's public information. You go in there, you can see my profile, just put my name in, Florida Bar, Google it, and it'll show you that my bar ID number's on there, and that I've been admitted to practice in Florida since January 7, 2015. So, and I work for a sports company. The reason I joined the Florida Bar was I work for a sports company here in Clearwater. We do youth and amateur sports complexes throughout the United States. So you have children or grandchildren that play youth sports, and so they may have played a tournament in one of our facilities. It's recreational complexes that serve the community during the week, but then give an opportunity for kids to play against kids from other towns. Well, like they do here with the Greenwood Panthers, when they invite teams to come in and play here in North Greenwood from around the state. So I've been active in many Clearwater organizations. I'm vice president of the Clearwater Beach Association. I was the vice chair of what was the old chamber in Clearwater, the Clearwater Regional Chamber. I've been vice chair of, currently vice chair of the Community Development Board. I was chair of the Parks and Recreation Board here in Clearwater. Just been very active in my community, and I care about Clearwater deeply. And I care about all of Clearwater, including all neighborhoods, because I've read a book by Rick Baker, former mayor of St. Petersburg, A Seamless City, and he talks about how a city can't succeed as a whole unless all parts of the city succeed. And so we need to make sure that happens here in Clearwater. There should be no part of our city left behind. We need to make sure all parts of our city are prosperous and great places to live. And as mayor, I intend to work throughout the city collaboratively with every community, and every community leader, not just here in Clearwater, but throughout our county and state, to make sure that all parts of Clearwater thrive.
Time. Thank you. And I think if you talk on the microphone, the people on Facebook and everything can hear you better.
Is that good? Okay. So good evening. Thank you all for being here. It's nice to see so many familiar faces, people that I've worked with over the last 4 years. So my name is Kathleen Beckman, and I am your city council member. I've been working for you for 4 years. I'm a former public high school English teacher and full-time volunteer all my life, born and raised in Michigan, and then Brian and I raised our 3 children in Northern Illinois. Moved down here almost 8 years ago and immediately became involved in community work. Worked with Habitat for Humanity, the Suncoast Sierra Club, started a little swim team in Ridgecrest, became a Pinellas Pinellas County Schools volunteer, which I continue to this day. Yesterday I was with Sophia for her lunch pal at Sandy Lane. It's one of the highlights of my week. Also became a guardian ad litem with the Pinellas County Courts about 7 years ago, which really gives me insight into the struggles that families face sometimes when you have children removed from the home for abuse or neglect. And so really got to know our community over the last 8 years by working side by side, hand in hand with a number of organizations. So I've been working for you for 4 years, and I can tell you that I'm the only one up here with elected experience. I'm the one up here who ran on a platform, and I have, along with our council, successes in each of those platform initiatives. And they are a champion for neighborhoods and small businesses, reducing costs. I will tell you, I'm the most frugal person probably you've ever known, and I can go toe-to-toe with people who pinch pennies. Increasing sustainability and protecting our environment, as well as ensuring transparency and adherence to good governance. That's incredibly important to me. And so I will say that, my opponent might talk about endorsements that he may have received from a number of high-level officials. I will tell you I'm most proud of the endorsements I've received from community partners. A number of you are in this room. It's people that we've worked shoulder to shoulder with. We've done bounce houses, we've decorated for galas, we've made signs, we've marched together, we've served together in the schools, and that's where that matters. My bipartisan support comes from also elected officials throughout the county who know me and work with me regularly. And I'm very proud of that. It would be an honor to serve as your mayor. I think that I have given my effort, my all, for the last over 4 years, 120%. And if that doesn't count and the voters choose someone else, so be it. But I have given it my all. I will continue to give it my all as your mayor. And I look forward to working with you for the next 4 years as your mayor.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience? I will ask the first question then. If elected mayor, what are your 3 biggest goals and what do you intend to accomplish in your first 90 days?
Do you want to go first? Want me to go first?
Who wants to go first?
Okay. All right.
I don't want you to fight over it.
No.
Just go back.
Okay. So 3 goals and what to accomplish in the first 90 days. I think that's a good question. The 3 biggest goals, I think, are to set the tone for collaboration and respect on the city council. Our city manager has talked about having a retreat for the new council, and I think that's important. A number of governmental organizations, I know Largo and the county, I think, have annual retreats for their sitting electeds so that they can really get to know each other and develop a strong relationship. I'm fully on board with that. Again, I've mentioned the sunshine laws, which really put a lot of constraints on what we can talk about on the dais. And so I think that would be one of my goals, is to follow through with that retreat and really develop a good working relationship and understanding where each person is coming from. I think we need to continue to champion resident engagement. I've done that as a council member. I've really worked hard at that, and I would continue to do that as a mayor and invite people in. This is your new council, meet them. What are your priorities? How can we work together and really grow that collaboration? And then certainly the things like infrastructure needs and housing are super important, but we will be right entering the very beginning and meat of budgetary discussions. And that's where people really need to chime in and help us understand what are your priorities and what are you willing to give and take on as we set the budget for 24-25.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with setting the tone with the current council, and I'm pleased to, after the council member Lena Teixeira endorsed me today, I'm proud to have 5 of the 6 council members who have served on the city council for the last 4 years have now endorsed me. So, plus the council member Albritton's also endorsed me, so I'm starting with 2 who are not up for election, who will already be on the council. That teamwork's really important within the council to make sure that we're on the same page and we work together to make things happen, good things happen with Clearwater. But Clearwater can't do this alone. When you take the revitalization of this neighborhood and all parts of Clearwater, we need help and we need resources from all over. So one of the first things I'll do is, I've already talked with Mayor Castor in Tampa about going over to meet with her. I'll go to St. Petersburg and meet with Mayor Welch. And, you know, we should want all 3 of our 3 largest cities in the region. We should all want each other to succeed. We should all want them to have success in those cities. And they should want Clearwater to have success too. And that regional cooperation is important to the revitalization of all Clearwater, because we've got to have resources come in to not just this neighborhood, but neighborhoods all over Clearwater. Public-private investment to make great things happen. So that first 90 days for me, well, I agree with Councilmember Beckman on setting the tone within the council, but we've got to get out externally and tell folks that Clearwater wants to have partners throughout the region.
Thank you. That was good. That was a good time. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's a big job as a mayor. Haven't been a mayor, but I can assume it's a big job. And I've seen some situations that concern me, because as we all know, when things get hot, they say get out of the kitchen when things get hot. And I would like to know what's your pressure point, because if things get hot and you're just gonna pick up and walk out of the kitchen, then that's a problem for everybody in the city. So what do you do when it get hot?
Well, I've part of my law practice over 30 plus years has been trying cases. So I've been in jury trials and I've been in regular trials for 5-6 days at a time. So nothing can get hotter than that kind of intense situation. So I've never shied away from difficult situations. I once had the opportunity, I was president of an international group, I had a chance to chair a strategic planning meeting for the British Junior Chamber in Belfast, Northern Ireland. One of the most hottest spots, and you've got folks who didn't agree with the folks south of them, and to pull people together to resolve difficult things. So personally, I see all that as a challenge. We're the 3rd largest city in Tampa Bay, and we've got some big issues, as everybody knows, that we need to address and work through those. And I'm motivated by that challenge, and I've always been motivated. As part of Junior Chamber International, as world president, I had a board of directors of 25 members from 18 different countries, and to get us all to work together as a team was a great challenge, and there were tough moments, but I enjoyed that. So I look forward to the difficult times, because I feel I can pull people together to help overcome those.
Thank you.
Well, when things get hot, I don't quit. And so it's been proven I don't quit. When Mayor Hibbard quit and walked off the dais, I stayed, and it was a strategic planning direction meeting, and we got the work done. That whole room was full of staff who had worked very hard and needed direction. And as vice mayor at the time, I took over that meeting, and we moved forward and got the work done. So I don't quit when things get hot. I'm not afraid of difficult questions or difficult topics. You know, we have part of good governance and transparency is really pulling the curtain back and looking at things closely. Where's the money going? How are we making those decisions? Who's getting it? What's the accountability? Those are difficult questions, especially in, you know, a long-standing way of operating our government without a lot of questions asked, without a lot of transparency. And people who are used to the way things have always operated aren't really welcoming of those questions and that transparency. And part of my view is, if we're doing it, we need to own it. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, then we need to do something different. And so I'm pushing for things like a dashboard for our public-private partnerships and all sorts of nuance to public-private partnerships. Does that mean media advertising? Does it mean free space without rent? Does it mean, you know, sponsorships and tables and memberships and all that nuance that's kind of trickled through and buried in our budget? Those are difficult conversations to have, but they're really important for our taxpayers. So I'm here to do good work.
Thank you.
Good evening. This one is from Mr. Rector. I know that you've shared, and forgive me, I can't remember the list of organizations that you've served in when you talk about your level of service. Parks and Recs, I know that was one of them, and there's a number of others that you mentioned. My question to you is, in serving in those or on those boards or organizations, what is the thing that you could tell us that you are most proud of, that you changed, that impacted, say, the North Greenwood community?
I'm happy to answer that, but I thought we were asking questions of both candidates. We're not gonna ask me a question or her.
Well, no, we can change that and do the same thing.
Yeah, Kathleen might answer too, since you can answer what she's.
Well, I mean, it can be the same question.
I think we're just here to talk, I think we're here to talk to you all tonight, just talk to you all. Really, I'm interested in answering all your questions you have. So I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, the Parks and Recreation Board is an advisory board, so we really don't have any teeth other than just make recommendations and to kind of give guidance to Parks and Recreation Board. We don't really have any authority to take any action. The Community Development Board is different. You know, that is a quasi-judicial board, and we often approve very difficult, challenging zoning planning issues. And those can be intense, and they're structured like a courtroom. There can be frustration by residents that they don't feel like, they don't understand the legal part of the process, and so all the expert witnesses and all that, they don't feel like they're on fair footing. So one of the things we've done, I think that has helped, hopefully, is we have recommended to the City Council several of our code changes that we think will make it better for our residents to be able to address zoning challenges. One of the things that the Neighborhoods Coalition has wanted to do, and I think from a hearing we just had earlier this week, and I used to represent neighborhoods when I'm in private practice early on in my career in Lexington, is you're a real disadvantage coming in as a neighborhood because it is structured as a legal hearing, a court proceeding. And unless you've got an attorney with you who knows the procedure, how to get evidence in, it is very difficult for neighbors to really make their case. So I would like to see more facilitation, more helping neighborhoods be able to make their arguments effectively in those hearings.
Thank you. And let me just restate the question and tell me if I have it right. With all the boards that you're on, what can you say is the biggest effect that you've had in the North Greenwood area?
Well, I'm proud to have worked along with and learned from the Clearwater Urban Leadership Coalition over the last 4+ years to understand that movement, to be part of that movement, to champion that movement, to celebrate the designation of our second CRA in North Greenwood. I'm also proud of the advocacy for when ARPA funds came down. We got $22.4 million to Clearwater, and I pushed hard to make sure that we had community outreach meetings so that residents could weigh in on how that money was spent, because that $22.4 million is in response to COVID and a lot of the inequalities, inequities that COVID exposed. And so I was in, pretty regular contact with leadership in this community about these are these funds, this is when we get the first tranche, we need your voices at the table. And I think that's really important. And so I've developed relationships in this community that I treasure, that I reach out and give a heads up on different agenda items that are coming up, that I know that you care about. Just like I reach out to people on the beach if there are agenda items coming up about infrastructure or Drew Street. And that's the beauty of being out in the community, different communities, pretty much continuously, is that you can target specific agenda items and information to that community and say, please be aware, we need you here.
Thank you.
What would you do if somebody was hurting people?
So, as the mayor, what would you do if somebody was hurting people?
Well, if somebody's hurting people, if I see it, I would hope that I'd be brave enough to step in and say stop, or to call someone who could help stop someone from being hurt. And if somebody else sees people getting hurt and they communicate with me, then I can go to the proper people to get help and follow through with that. I'd like to think that I would be able to do that, to be brave enough to step in and stop someone from being hurt, either physically or by their words.
Thank you.
Great question. And I want you to know that I will work tirelessly to make sure all of Clearwater is safe. I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Clearwater Police and the Clearwater firefighters, and public safety is one of my highest priorities. We have to make sure we keep the best and brightest police officers on the force. It's become very competitive for pay, with Tampa and St. Petersburg and other communities raising their pay and benefits for their police officers and firefighters. And it's become very hard for us to recruit police officers here because it costs a lot to live in Clearwater. So we need to make sure that we're compensating our police and fire so that you and other kids in this community are safe by allowing enough police officers to have a presence so that they can help keep you safe.
Thank you. Good question.
Councilmember Beckman was talking about transparency and the importance of transparency. So my biggest question is, my challenge to whoever becomes mayor, if by chance, well, first of all, we know that Councilmember Albritton has 2 more years on his seat and then he's termed out. And if his son-in-law is elected for seat 2, that means you have 2 family members together on the council. I have no idea how that would possibly work and still keep transparency and follow guidelines for the Sunshine Law. I don't know how that would possibly work, and how that should even be allowed for a person to run if they already have a family member on the council. It's wrong in every sense of the word, and I would challenge either one of you to make sure that doesn't ever happen again.
What's the question?
The question is, if David Albritton is on the council and his son-in-law happens to win seat 2, what's going to happen? What action can you take?
Well, I can tell you this, I'm governed by the Florida Sunshine Law, particularly on the Community Development Board. I follow it to the letter. I would never tell somebody to send a communication through, for instance, my son, indirectly to kind of, to breach that. So I will follow that myself as a council member and as mayor, and I will expect the rest of our council to do the same. That there can't be any communication outside that would violate the Florida Sunshine Laws, and they need to figure that out. I don't know how that I don't know how that works at a Thanksgiving. I don't know how that works at Christmas. I don't know how that works at any family weekend get together, but we're not gonna loosen our expectation as citizens that our elected officials follow the Florida Sunshine Law.
Thank you.
That's kind of an interesting question, Maura. I think it's certainly an honor system. I mean, people can meet out wherever and have a conversation. A number of people meet for breakfast on a Saturday that are elected officials for breakfast and sit on the same dais. And it's a judgment call, and I think that that's problematic. But I'm not sitting there eavesdropping, and if people don't make a complaint, I think that's the way it goes. But I aim to set a good example.
Thank you.
Hi. Hello. Oh, gosh. Most of you don't know me, but I'm usually very wordy. So I don't even know if this is a question, a comment, but I've got you. Anyway, this is my concern. From this moment forth, can I please ask you to stop the horrible things that are being said? Let me finish my question, because I have a microphone. Anyway, stop the accusations, things that have been proven untrue. What is your credential, Bruce, to be here? And what is Kathleen's? And why do you have people saying negative things all the time? Anybody, if you have them too, Kathleen, I don't know. I'm appalled. This is such an important election. Is it a disease we've caught from the federal people? I don't know that we can't say a nice thing. So anyway, I really want a straight answer. I want a promise. Number one, that one thing that comes out about 90 million, it's a lie. It was going to be several buildings. It wasn't going to be just a city hall. My question is, I want a promise, and it's a heck of a question because I doubt you're going to do it. I want you to be nice, okay? Play nice. No, really, it's getting terrible.
Kathleen, we've known each other a long time.
Absolutely.
We're having a forum here tonight on city issues. We're not having a campaign rally. We're not. So let's talk about issues facing the city in the future of this neighborhood. You'll have a CRA now, which has unlimited potential. Unlimited potential for us to design this community the way you want it to move forward. Javante's got a great campaign slogan on it, next. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do to take this community forward together? Work together to collaborate and do it. That's what I came here to talk about, is issues that we can work together to make Clearwater better, not about our respective campaigns.
Play nice.
Okay. Thank you. Kathleen?
Well, I committed to keeping my campaign about the issues. I've served for 4 years, and I'm proud of my record. I can explain my record and give details and nuance about my record. And I've chosen not to go low that way. And since got a minute or so, let me just say about, here's an example of part of that negativity. So on one of the first flyers, it was, Kathleen disrespected Ruth Eckerd Hall, as if asking questions about financials and a partnership is disrespecting. And also, she wanted to double our social service funding. Let me tell you that our social service funding from general funds has been stagnant at about $250,000 for over 10 years. We need more funding. We're number 1 in the nation for our COC, our Continuum of Care in Pinellas County, in homeless vets. We are in the top 5 nationally in homeless families and total of homeless individuals. And so when I advocate for more spending for those services, for a landlord liaison, for rent stability, for something to help people stay in their homes, that's what it's for. And the context is, we haven't raised that in over 10 years. And when people stand up there on Memorial Day and Labor Day, and they put their hands over their heart, and they pledge, and they say they honor veterans, and we're #1 in the nation in homeless veterans, there's a problem. And that's the nuance with negative campaigning and advertising like that, that doesn't tell the complete story. And when I make my point on the dais, I give those details. It's not just willy-nilly, let's just double it for the heck of it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joyce Saylor, and I've been in Clearwater most of my life, all my life. And I'm a grandparent now. I don't have any kids, but I was a single parent back in the day, and I was blessed to be able to be up on a good mayor, which was Rita Garber. And she watched out for our kids, and she made sure each and every one of our kids had somewhere to go, to be able to play, and to be able to gather together for free. And she provided computers and everything for the kids, for the kids in this community. So my question is, and with by me being a grandparent now, and I have tried to get my kids enrolled into the after school programs and the before school programs and the summer camps, each one of those kids have to pay $1,100 per child. And that is too high. If you just a single parent and you have 2 or 3 kids, somebody's not going to camp or somebody's not going to daycare. It's $1,100, but they have programs that also that you can get, funds to help with that. And we went through that challenge too, and it was just as high. They said, oh, they'll knock some off. It was like $900. So I was wondering, what would you ask candidates for the mayor? How can we handle this for kids can get, have somewhere to go instead of run up and down the streets?
Well, thank you, Joyce, for that question. That's a good question. I don't know enough about the pricing for those. I'm assuming you're talking about city-run rec center programs. So I don't know if we have sliding scales, if they can slide down a little lower than 900. I don't know if there's a cap that we could look at. I know that, it's important to partner with other organizations. I think there's great potential in partnering with religious organizations and congregations in our community. I think that's an untapped resource. There's all sorts of problems or challenges with screening, level 2 screening, level 1 screening, and the cost of that to get volunteers or people to work with children. I know that in my work as a guardian ad litem and at the school. And so maybe the city can help offset some of those things. But I think that there's potential in that. But there's also capacity. And again, we have to open up that budget and really look at it transparently and say, what are our priorities as a community? And would you be willing to reduce library hours in order to offset the cost of summer camp? Those kinds of discussions are important.
Thank you.
2 things. One, you're absolutely right. Our kids in Clearwater are the most important asset of this community. And we need to have all kinds of programs and work to get them actively involved because they are the biggest asset of this community and taking care of them. And the other thing you raised, which is important for us to remember too, to make sure government is always efficient because so many people are having such a hard time right now buying food, staying in their homes because their property insurance has gone crazy. Lady in our office today told me she just got her recent property insurance quote was $6,800 for this year. And 3 years ago, it was $2,500. So it's gone up that much. That a lot of elderly folks, it breaks my heart. I go to their door and talk to them and they're like, how's it going? Well, it's going well, but I don't know if I'll be able to stay in this home much longer. Well, why? Well, they're requiring me to put a new roof on my house before I get property insurance. I can't afford a new roof. So I guess I'm just going to have to sell it so I can comply with their mortgage. So all those taxes or those fees that you're talking about, man, they impact real people. And if we can reduce them just a little bit, we can help you find some assistance to help you get by. It may be a little bit off or whatever, but it goes a long way. And for me, that's where we need to put our focus.
Thank you.
Thank you. My experience with the North Greenwood community is that it kind of got shortchanged in several things. A long time ago, the city put in medians along Martin Luther King Drive, and they looked pretty good, and then they started deteriorating and kind of breaking apart, and we didn't get the maintenance to keep that area looking really nice. The plants died off, and we allowed too many dumps to occur on empty lots. Will you commit to treating all neighborhoods, including North Greenwood, the same, and ensure that we have a quality neighborhood here?
Absolutely, and Bill, you're one of those who referred me to the book Seamless City by Rick Baker. I mean, we're one community as a whole. And I think for too many years, because you don't drive through North Greenwood, a lot of Clearwater doesn't think about North Greenwood. North Greenwood's an important part of this community too, just because it's a little bit off the beaten track. And it's not just North Greenwood though. There's a lot of neighborhoods where, I say a lot, there are some neighborhoods where they don't have curbing. They don't have, you look like you're out in the middle of rural Florida some places in Clearwater where they haven't had those basic infrastructure additions made to their neighborhood since the 1950s. So we need to look at our community as a whole, and yes, we need to treat this neighborhood equally with all others in the way we repair and improve the infrastructure.
Thank you for that question, Bill. I would agree that, certainly I can commit to beautifying North Greenwood and making sure it gets the equal attention that other neighborhoods do. But I would say North Greenwood is definitely not off the beaten path. North Greenwood is part of, if we're, our city of over 117,000 residents, from Countryside to Skycrest to Sand Key to the beach, to North Greenwood to Lake Bellevue, is unique and vast. But I think I lost my train of thought. What was I thinking?
Not off the beaten path.
Oh, you're not, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. So, it's not off the beaten path. And you know what? You're part of the newest CRA. And we all walked from North Greenwood down to the Sound for the MLK celebration. It is within walking distance of, woohoo, our big downtown and our new amphitheater in Coachman Park. It borders the other CRA in the downtown. We've got Drew Street right down the middle. Yes, it's here. You guys are within walking distance of the waterfront. It is part of the heart of Clearwater, and it needs to reflect that. And with that new CRA designation, we've got all sorts of potential for engagement and for revitalization and new economic development and new programs to really speak towards reduction of poverty, which is the goal, and all those partnerships with those arts and job skills and all sorts of those grants that were awarded as part of ARPA. That's a great positive, nucleus that's starting, and we need to continue it.
Thank you.
My question is,